Hi there. This is Dave Chapman here, speaking on behalf of the Digital Business Academy, talking to you from UCL, where this is the first of our on-air hangouts for the Digital Business Academy first course. So welcome. As I say, my name's Dave Chapman, and I want to introduce my colleague, who you also see, Matt. Say a few words of introduction.
Hi there, I'm Matt Jenner. I work at UCL supporting e-learning and distance learning, and I'll be Dave's right-hand man for this live session.
Okay, so what I want to do is start off by saying a little bit about my take on what we're trying to do with the Digital Business Academy in general, and with this first course, Size Up Your Idea, and walk you through some of the things that have happened thus far, before then moving on to open up for a Q&A session relating to things you've come across on the site. Right from the off, should say that this is a beta version of the site. This is something we've just taken live, and so we're still working on various developments. One of the things you'll notice as we go through here, if you're following us on the YouTube channel, is that there's a 30-second delay between what I see and what you see, and so at times it may be a little bit disjointed as we try to link backwards and forwards between the two. We'll work to improve that as we go ahead. There's also many things where we're looking for your input. We're looking for your input on content. We're also looking for your input and suggestions on things we might do to enhance or improve the experience as we go through. Matt's our e-learning expert, and so he's going to be helping with us with that as we start to shape the product going forward. And this is just a starting point. There's going to be lots of other material that we hope to bring to your attention as we go through. So just to start things off, I thought that I'd just walk you through the site and give you a few highlights of things we're expecting and some of the navigation issues, and some of the work that's been done so far, some of your contributions thus far. So if you bear with me, I'm just going to switch over to the actual site itself and give you some walkthrough. Today I'm going to be focusing on the first course, Size Up Your Idea, which is something put together by a few of us at University College London. And to say something about the intent behind the course, what you hope you get from it. The course is, yes, about taking your idea and working through it, but to start off, we flip things around a little bit, and we're trying to work you through a case study first to introduce some of the tools and frameworks that we think are helpful in sizing up your idea, before then actually moving on to applying them in the context of your own business opportunity. So the first three sessions within this course are an introduction to tools and frameworks, before we then move on later on to this notion of generating ideas, validating your ideas, and taking your ideas forward to product. If you complete, as you go through the course, there are various sections that you'll complete, and if you complete them all, the activity completion bar should highlight, and at the end of the course you should end up with a brand new spanking badge that unlocks many of the rewards from our partners on the Digital Business Academy. So you'll see that I have managed to secure the award for my own course, which I'm glad about. And I've managed to do that actually without completing some of the activities. Yours would all have to be complete to get the badge. If you can work out how I've done this without completing all the activities, then you really are an entrepreneur, and you deserve the badge. So today I want to focus really on the first session in the course. This one here, developing digital business skills. Why you? Why now? And first, let me just say something about the navigation through this item. As we go through, you will see that there are a number of things that you need to complete in order to actually complete the session and move on towards the award of the badge. All of these are flagged with either being in progress, or in my case, I have completed all of these modules here. So Shift Happens is completed, what skills you need to thrive is completed. So as you work through, you should see that you're on progress towards the completion of that particular session. The intent behind this this module is really to try to get you to think about why to not get you to think about why entrepreneurship is important. You already know that, but try to put entrepreneurship in context. We know that many of you want to start your own venture, but that's not all of you. There are others in the academy who are looking to develop their skills, to enhance their skills, to improve their employability, or to perhaps work in an interesting new startup. And so we want to be able to support those people as well as those who are actually in the process of venture creation. So we have done a bit of a poll, which I'll present in a moment, about who's on the program, but it's a balance between those wanting to learn new skills and those truly wanting to start a new venture. As we work through, there are various activities that we will ask you to complete. Some of them will be locked away until the end of each session. So, for example, when you were completing Ahmed's your value proposition for Cellplex, in the first instance, many of the results of that were hidden away. As these become live, we're going to reveal them to you as these are completed. We'll reveal these to you, and we're going to talk in later on about actually going in and giving feedback to others. We will ask you to rate and rank the responses of others, because we believe by doing so you can support each other in actually understanding what makes a good value proposition, what is a good business model canvas, and develop the skills that you need to actually then apply in the context of your own business. I'm going to skip on to where we are at the moment, this weekly discussion with the UCL team. The idea here is that every week we're going to be hosting one of these on-air sessions, discussing each session in turn and focusing on each one, and we'll be using this format of a mixture of Google Hangouts with the YouTube on-air. And we'll be doing that to actually answer questions that have been posted in forums or questions that have come up during the in the various sessions, in the various forums during that week's activities, or that you're pasting live online in the YouTube chat channel. So if you're watching this on YouTube at the moment in the live session, then you should find on the right hand side there's the opportunity to chat and to post queries, which Matt will pick up and feed through to me in a seamless handover from one to the other. We don't have that many posts so far in terms of general questions in these forums, and I think that we would encourage you to do this, because we're looking to genuinely respond to your inquiries. And at the moment, it's almost one-to-one support here. So if you post a query, you're going to get an answer. One of the things we did ask you to do was to give some insight about who was actually on the course. At the moment, I think the numbers. What's the numbers currently in the course? It's running into I think about 1,000 people or so are working on here.
That's right. We have just under 1,000 people now that have signed up to Size Up Your Idea and are actively learning in the course. Even a handful of them have even finished it. Around about 10 people have finished it already.
Can you mute again, Mike? And so here's the background of the people that you're learning with. So we have people with no technical skills and some business skills, about a third of you. A third of people with a lot of technical skills and a lot of business skills. People actually perhaps ready to go, and others who are perhaps more technically oriented and are looking to enhance their business skills. We're not intending in the program to teach you deep technical skills. We're not going to teach you Python. We're really not going to teach you full stack delivery at this stage. Our focus is on the business skills. So it looks like we've got the right people in the room. Of the people who indicated a preference, 62% of you said that you'd actually identified an opportunity you wish to address, and that's great. You know, you've got an idea, and this is something that we want to move forward on. If we are successful, then we will advance you in the stage of development towards from the idea through to market launch. Further down, you can find out the things about motivation. You want to learn skills, is what this word all tells me, and that's great. And your expectation is that you will learn skills, develop new ideas and understanding, and you will be the judges of that when we get through the program. So here is the kind of the overview of the first session, developing digital business skills. Why now? One thing we've turned on since you started to engage with this is where we have forums. We've added into the forum the idea that allows you the ability to start to rate some of the posts that we see as people talk about the opportunities to come in this case, and look at what we might look to disrupt. I particularly like the post here about, well, what we need to do is disrupt the online online education through the Digital Business Forum, and so we'll go in and rate this. This is a great post. These posts, as more and more people rate them, then they'll be made visible. Obviously, me rating it just on my own is good, but we're going to have at least 3 people rate before we actually reveal that to everybody on the forum. So one of the things we're going to ask you to do and encourage you to do is to go back in and help us by rating the various posts. So that's kind of an overview of where we are on the site and what we're trying to do here. And I wanted to respond to some of the questions that have come up in general conversations, not necessarily posted as feedback on this particular on a particular forum, but have come up in some of the discussions fed back more widely. And one of them, I think, is to just start out by addressing a misunderstanding that may have arisen in one part of the site. So I'm just going to flip you back to another screen share where I've got a couple of images that I just want to walk through. People are saying, what's all this stuff about shift happening? Why are you starting with this engaging video, but why is this relevant to me? I just want to get on and start my business. And I think the philosophy behind this was that yes, there are opportunities for you to start up a new business, that's bringing in something that was new to the world. But also there are opportunities to go and disrupt established businesses. It doesn't have to be new to the world products or services. All businesses out there are struggling under the dramatic changes we're seeing in the business environment. One of the slides I took out from the Shift Happens presentation was one that said that China will soon be the world's #1 English-speaking country. That there will be more people speaking English in China than anywhere else in the world. And so to try to redress that, I thought we better start off with a bit of Mandarin. This notion that this Chinese word of weiji, which is the Chinese word for crisis. Many of these changes in the business environment, in the way we live and inhabit our world, are leading to crises that challenge businesses and challenge society. Interestingly, this Chinese word weiji is actually made up of 2 characters. The first character on the left, meaning danger. The second character on the right, meaning opportunity. And so at the heart of the Digital Business Academy is this notion that there are these changes out there in the environment that are dangerous, but that entrepreneurs see as opportunities to be embraced and opportunities to generate new value. And so the Shift Happens video is intended to give this notion of this dramatic change that is challenging businesses, large and small, leading to new opportunities. And the idea, therefore, was not necessarily that all opportunities have to come in as new to the world business opportunities, that you're coming in here at the search stage and you're going to spend ages educating the market before then going into a rapid period of growth and then ultimately into maturity and decline. Rather, that there are opportunities at every stage here. Established businesses and mature businesses are challenged by these changes in the external business environment that give us new opportunities to actually engage and change and actually challenge incumbents. And so I wanted to introduce this notion that on that continuum from market creation to alignment with the current environment, to see the, trying to establish an improved solution to a known need, that there are opportunities at every stage here. You don't necessarily have to be at this highly uncertain end of market creation. There are opportunities to be found at every stage along the spectrum, from A to C, from market creation to alignment with the current market. So I think that this are two things I wanted to say by way of general introduction to some of the general feedback we've been having on the content of the website so far. Why have we done it this way round? We wanted to set the context, but we want to make sure that we're not just talking that all opportunities have to be new to the world. There are opportunities all the way along the spectrum, and many of you will fit at different stages. And indeed, later on, we're going to be asking you at what stage your business idea is in. Is it creating a new market? Is it actually entering an existing market? Or is it looking to resegment an existing market by coming up with a new customer segment within that market? I'm going to flip back at this stage just to the forum. I haven't quite worked out yet how to do this so you can see me and see the webcast. But I'm going to flip back to the forum and just look at one or two of the questions that have been posted there, and try to respond to them. And then we're going to go to Matt, and Matt's picking up some questions that have come in online and through emails. So on the forum, he said, moving slickly to the forum, one of the questions that jumped out at me was the one here about foreigners who want to start up their online business in the UK. About, is the UK open for business? And I think that the answer as an educator who deals with international students would say is emphatically yes. There are many opportunities that we see to encourage entrepreneurs to come to the UK. UK Trade and Investments run a program called the Sirius program, which looks for talent from around the world, entrepreneurial talent, brings them into the UK, helps them with visas, helps them with funding. And so we will I'll respond with some details and give you the link to that later on. Similarly, there are lots of opportunities that we see that are coming for entrepreneurs' visas in various forms. And so the UK, I think, is genuinely seeking to welcome people from around the planet to come and engage in the UK. I was going to pick then on another post here, which is a bit more challenging to respond to. Roman, who I don't know, has posted a request. What would be your positioning statement for a job site which doesn't charge for placing vacancies or reviewing resumes? Viewing your CV. Here it's much more difficult to respond to a question like this. I mean, to some extent, the hopefully we would have picked up from the earlier course that it's very difficult to actually develop a positioning statement unless we have a very, very clear idea about which customer segments we're seeking to address. And so I think, you know, there may be responses here about good try, fishing for a positioning statement for your business, and let's encourage that. But we need a lot more information here. Who is your customer? What are the details of them? How does your customer live their lives? And we'll see that actually there are some crossovers in answering questions like this between this course, the one on developing digital business skills, and other courses such as developing digital prototypes, where we talk much more about personas and developing a clear view of who your customer is. So, forum responses, we will respond to these more systematically than we've been doing so far, but not all of them. But we will be asking and encouraging people to rate their ideas and to come back with some to allow us then to rank some of the responses by your rating, so that you can learn from each other as you go through the program. At this stage, I'm just going to switch over to Matt, who's got, I believe, a couple of questions that he's picked up. Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I've got a question that's come in from Timothy, and it asks, how do people take ideas from the non-digital world? How do they take their business ideas into a more digital world or online? What might the process look like for someone who's trying to transition between the reality and the virtual?
So in this context, I guess we're talking about perhaps traditional retailers who have established products and services that are selling into the marketplace. And I think one of the barriers to many of the organizations is thinking about how to set up their digital presence, how to actually get themselves online with websites and e-marketing and so on. The truth of the matter is that this has just become so easy nowadays that it's almost buying things off the shelf. You know, you can go to any of the online from one-to-one to GoDaddy. Any of these web hosting sites will give you the capabilities of doing this, together with e-commerce tools and platforms that link in. In the course that we have on developing digital prototypes, there's a lot of guidance there about how to set up very simple tools using WordPress, even as a landing page that gives you initial digital presence that will allow you to actually then capture information about customer feedback through the development of very simple landing page tools. So again, I think what we can do here is rather than listing exhaustively on air the platforms, we'll make a posting with some of the digital tools that we find particularly useful, and then Timothy can look there to pick those up.
Okay, thanks. So I have another one from a user called Yishe, and they've said, could you cite places where you can get inspiration or understanding from where ideas for a new business might come from?
So, where does inspiration come from? I mean, there's a little bit of here jumping ahead in the course. We actually have as module 3, where do good ideas come from, and we provide you with 2 workbooks that give examples of where inspiration might arise from. Inspiration generally comes from your experience. I don't think you get inspiration by just sort of Googling, give me a good business idea. Inspiration, I think, comes from your practical experience of really engaging with users and face-to-face engagement with the problem. Perhaps you've experienced it firsthand. You know, there's a frustration or a problem you've come across in your life or in your business, and you decide to take action to resolve that problem. Ideas don't have to be, as I said at the beginning, brand new to the world. It's often something that is a frustration within an existing business, that if you can remove that frustration, then you can create a brand new opportunity. An example that we have from our Entrepreneurship Online guest lectures is from the founder of Glasses Direct. His frustration was that glasses seem so ephemeral but cost so much money. Why was that? Why were they so expensive? In looking into the cost of the raw materials, he worked out these only costed a few pounds. But I paid, I'm embarrassed to say, I think £400 for these rather shoddy glasses now. So his question was, why is that? That seems strange. That seems wrong. Why is that? And actually, what can I do then about disrupting that market? So by going out and developing a solution where you buy glasses direct off of the internet, using your prescription from the optician, was able to cut out the bricks and mortar component and therefore deliver a solution that really led to a substantial and sizable business. So I think inspiration comes from observation. It comes from walking around with your eyes and your ears open, listening to when you see a problem, digging into that problem, asking why does that problem exist, and digging into to try to understand what the challenges are. And then the difference between an entrepreneur and just the rest of the folk is that the entrepreneur says, well, that's interesting, I'm going to try to do something about that. So inspiration comes from your life, inspiration comes from your work, inspiration comes from your passions, your hobbies, inspiration comes from some of the frustrations that you see in your life, or some of the frustrations you observe in your business. And seeking to address those, I think, it gives you a direct entry to something where you can really start to solve a problem.
Okay, so we have another one that's actually coming through Twitter, which is around, what's the one thing that you would like to disrupt? What is it, and why would you want to disrupt that? So one key thing that's clearly you personally would like to disrupt.
Yeah, okay. In fact, this aligns with one of the posts on the forum. It's probably the same person. I think that education and learning is ripe for disruption. I think that my own university is kind of ripe for disruption. There's, don't get me wrong, there's huge value in peer-to-peer engagement. One of the challenges for me in this online learning environment is it's very difficult to get energy back from the internet. When you're working with intimately with a class of students, you really get energy from them. It's just fantastic. And when you get peers coming together to learn together, then ideas just fly. However, as we start to improve the tools of e-learning, as we start to develop them, as we start to blend face-to-face and online, I think there are real opportunities for collaborative learning environments, for peer-to-peer support that will challenge the incumbents in the education marketplace in a good way, and lead to new opportunities and new insights. And indeed, that's to some extent why I agreed to participate in this. It's in this Digital Business Academy, because it's about learning how we can shape the tools to help create something that's going to really be a force for change.
So I'm going to embellish on this a little. Obviously, working at UCL, you see hundreds of students coming through your doors that all want to be entrepreneurs and start up businesses and work in this area. However, there must be a skill that most people need to work on. There must be a sort of skill deficit that you see on a regular occurrence. This is coming from Patricia. Could you name one skill that you think people really lack that they could develop further? Yeah.
Again, I allude to this in a later presentation. I think in the academy. My biggest concern is people don't listen. They get so wrapped up in their passionate belief in their own ideas that they don't listen to what the market is telling them or what their customers telling them. Elsewhere online, I say, entrepreneurs have got one mouth and 2 ears. They need to be listening, twice as hard as they're actually speaking. But the number of times people come into my room and sit down and say, right, can I have half an hour of your time to talk through my idea? And then we'll try to talk non-stop for 25 minutes, trying to sell me their idea, rather than to actually listen to gauge my reaction or to ask me questions where they can get new insights. And this, I think, is the biggest challenge for an entrepreneur who's so passionate and wrapped up in their idea that they just want to be out selling all the time. There's a time for selling, there's a time for passion, and that's important. But during the early stages, I think listening skills are absolutely critical to this endeavor. So yeah, the missing skill maybe. How do we teach people to listen? I'm not sure, and I know I talk too much myself. So at this point, I just want to look forward to where we're going next in the next session of the Digital Business Academy, and to try to give some hints and tips on things that we might look for. So I'm just going to link again back to the site and jump forward to session 2. I'm very aware that some people are already well ahead of us. As Matt said, we've got a number of people who've already completed the course, claimed their badge, and are probably off making their fortune. But I think that we are hoping to follow through with you, offering hints and tips as we go. We're very happy to take questions on any part of the program. It doesn't necessarily have to be just on the first session, the second session. These chats are open to all. But we're experimenting with this notion of pacing people through together so that they can learn together. So, as they say in the best TV traditions, coming up shortly in Size Up Your Idea. The second course that we have is this one called Charting the Way. I'm a bit of a business model canvas. I don't know. People say I try to apply it to too many parts of my life. The business model canvas developed by Alex Osterwalder, I think, is a very useful frame for helping you think about the components of an idea. And so we're going to introduce this business model canvas and actually ask you to work through an assignment before focusing on this notion of customer segmentation, of focusing down on who precisely your customer is. And we're going to follow Ahmed just for this second and third week to work through the Cellplex example of customer segmentation before asking you to perhaps go away and look at developing a business model canvas that you can share with others. We've said at this stage, rightly or wrongly, that we'd like you to focus on somebody else's business in developing a canvas, and have suggested a list of targets for you, basically those that come from examples from the Wired Top 100, but really you can be flexible in terms of developing which business model canvas you want, and then to actually develop that, and we're encouraging you to post that in a format, sorry this is too big for you to see, in a format where people can review your efforts online, and then of course go in and rate that business model canvas, because we're looking for great examples. We're looking for people who have really come up with examples that you can actually promote to as best practice. So we're encourage you to share a canvas at the end of the session, and we will then be voting on that and looking at the ones that we consider to be good examples. We've given a number of tools that allow you to do that. Canvanizer is one, and we'll be encouraging you just to develop your proficiency in understanding how we might use this before moving forwards in later sections to move you forward to onwards to actually then moving in our fourth session to generating new ideas and seeking to refine them. Of course, work ahead, work as far ahead. You can move through this at your own pace. We will be working alongside you. We will be contributing to your discussions. We'll be encouraging the rating and ranking of good posts, and we'll be meeting with you on a weekly basis to actually respond to questions and to post new ideas or new insights that have come. So I think at that point I am going to just flip back to the face-to-face. Sorry, you catch me. This is not the most flattering camera angle of all. I think at the moment there are a few additional questions that are coming in online.
So there's been one more in the forum from Bao, and Bao has asked about he's working on his startup, but it's just them. What's the best way to find co-founders, and can the Digital Business Academy, can the platform help Bao find other co-founders?
I think if we look at the demographics of the people involved in the course, there are many people looking to buddy up with people here. We have people with technical skills looking to partner with those who have good business ideas, and vice versa. So absolutely, I think that there's a role for the Digital Business Academy in making this happen. Can it all happen online? I'm not entirely sure. I think that's an issue about whether there are opportunities for us to create a slightly more blended environment where we might, in due course, have a get together over a beer and look each other in the eye and work out whether we do want to work with you or not. So I think we've put a couple of forums that you can find where if you're looking for people, you can post up who you're looking for, but I think you need to be a little bit more specific about precisely who and what you're looking for. It's all very well saying I'm looking for a technical co-founder. Nobody's going to respond. Well, nobody of any. I really question whether anybody who you'd really want to work with you is going to respond to a post like that. You need to be quite specific about the nature of the opportunity, what your value proposition is, the stage you're at. You need to give as much information as you can about the person you're looking for in terms of what sort of skills that they need. So yes, absolutely, I feel that this is something where the Academy can help, but I think that you do need to be quite specific in revealing insights about who you are, what you're looking for, and what stage you're at. So, post it out there, post it up. If you go to the section that actually gives us the, sorry, just bear with me. If you go to the discussion section here, you'll see all of the forums that we have. And indeed, you'll see here we've got two sections that we've placed in looking for a contact. So if you're looking for a business contact, perhaps post up and ask here. So if you're looking for entry to Marks and Spencer, I don't know, a buyer in a major retailer, put it out there. I'm sure there's somebody online that will be able to help you. If you're looking for a team member, be as precise as you can. What are you looking for? What are you offering? What stage are you at? And yeah, post out an inquiry. So people are looking for team members. People are looking for app developers. Looking for web developers. I would just recommend that actually the more details you can give, the more likely you are to do that. So perhaps give a link to a URL where you might give more information, or a link to your landing page if you have one, so people can check out what they're doing, what you're doing and what they're getting into. And the more specific you can be, the more likely you are that you're going to, I think, find a suitable response. Okay, so at that point, I think we're going to call this to an end. This video will go up onto YouTube. It will also be available to you online. We'll post it, I think, in its unedited form, unless I look at it and I'm just too horrified by too many of my stammers. We'll put this up online. And we'll host an online hangout at the same time next week. And would encourage you to post responses, post questions into the forum at the end of session 2, which we'll make live now, and also to engage with the online chat discussion, or post queries through any of the other mechanisms that are provided on the Digital Business Academy. So for now, I think that's all from me. So it's goodbye from Dave and
yeah, goodbye from Matt.
Okay, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.